Welcome back to Sail Up. Today I am once again at the most innovative boat show in the entire world. I'm going to talk you through some of the products I found that I think are going to make a difference to us as sailors. We're going to go all the way from anchors through to 4D scanners, which we normally see on cars. And I'm going to learn something today about the impeller that I didn't even know was a thing. This is Greg. Hello, mate.
Hey, Chris.
How you doing, bud? Let me pop this on you. Greg is from Mantus Anchors, and he's been changing things again. So talk me through what you've been doing, mate.
Well, this year we released an upgrade to both our anchor models. We have a roll bar version and a no roll bar version. And this is kind of an updated M1 roll bar version.
Yeah, so the M1 is basically a roll bar anchor, which has basically been competing at the top level of all anchors for a long time. And you've innovated, right? Just for those who didn't know what the M1 is.
Thank you for that. So one of the things we did is we reinforced the shank of the anchor. Most of the time, if its shank is going to bend, it's going to bend in this area. So we stiffened it up without adding any more metal anywhere else, so we can have as big of a fluke as possible. And then when you turn it over, we created a keel, which protects the nose, because sometimes the nose can bend if it's stuck on a rock. And then finally, the biggest improvement, I think, is these little ears. And what they do is they almost double the performance in soft mud. So a lot of anchors we put on the bow of the boat have a weakness in soft mud. So the better you can be there, the more universal a unit can be.
So the cool thing with this is, like, it's the way that it increases the performance in soft mud. And the idea of the ears is actually, and it's quite weird because they've got a little sandpit here you can play with. And I've been playing with it. But as you pull this tight, the ears go in the soft mud, and it changes the angle of the fluke. It actually moves the entire angle, which gives you a much better grip. Is that right?
Correct.
Amazing. Now, we've been testing this one, which is a dinghy anchor. But this one's super cool. You basically it's totally disassembled by hand. Like, easy. Just pull and play. The whole thing comes apart. Nice little dinghy anchor. So, I do like them. I do like what they've been doing, and I love the innovation there. There's more innovation on this one as well, which is pretty cool. Greg, quickly, what's this Stegosaurus approach about?
Is it good to do it on the sandpit? Maybe it's easier to show.
Yeah, let's do it on the sandpit.
So the question is, why the scalloping here? And remember, we had to introduce these fins that act as foils to straighten the anchor up and change angle attack in soft mud.
Yeah.
Well, then it doesn't roll over as easy. So we needed to take as much weight off of here while maintaining the ability to roll over.
Yeah.
We wanted to, if there's just a way to balance the anchor to it rolls over.
And that's because this is the model without the roll bar, of course.
Right, so that's the roll over with the shank.
Yeah.
And then, in addition, it helps lock the anchor when on bar roller.
Okay.
Right here. Either option you choose is going to be a good cruising anchor. If you had to get into the weeds of things and say which one is better where, I think this one has a little bit more holding and a hard bottom, although you have plenty enough with M1.
Yeah.
And soft mud, the M1 wins. But really, the decision which one you need for your boat is driven by which one fits better on your roller.
Right, got you. Happy days. Well, Greg, thanks, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you, man. Right, so we're going to shoot on now and go check out something which is completely the opposite end of the technology spectrum. Anchors have been around for ages, basically. So I'm going to take you a look at something which is derived from the automotive world, which is pretty cool to see. And I know where they're going with this is even better. So let's shoot off around the corner here. And I think actually on the way, there's another brand that I want to take you to see. Are they up there or down here? I think they're down here. It's so easy to get lost in these halls. So these guys here, it's iNav4U Incorporated Canada. I know them as Zora.
Collision imminent.
And so I'm not going to go into it too much, but I'll just take you on a walk and tell you. Zora is basically a software system and a hardware system in one box to kind of replace the traditional chart plotter. I'm not going to go into it too much, but that's because some friends of ours have already done an enormous video on it, and I should just point you to those guys. That's the Real Red Seas. So check out the Real Red Seas and their episode on Zora. Link will be in the description. Those guys have been helping develop the product, so I think they've done a good job. I think it's quite cool, and I'm interested in potentially looking at testing that one in the future and see what we think. So yeah, check out that video, and now I'm off to find out how you've managed to squeeze, or how someone's managed to squeeze automotive technology into basically a boat radar. So I just want to show you this as well on the way. This is a Kiwi company called Zora Jet. They're working on these jet thrusters basically, and I think that's a cool thing. I actually think it might be the way for dinghies and tenders to go. I've been thinking that for 3 years actually. So yeah, I'm gonna have a look at one of them in the future. I'm gonna definitely get a review and a test on one to see what the reality is like when you come to efficiencies and speed and practicalities of it as well. There's another brand who's actually going into it too, and they're going to be the last in this video. I've actually already done a review on one of their products recently. So yeah, anyway, moving on to the fancy radars. They're just up here. So this is the brand that I've been telling you about. It's WatchIt. These guys are an Israeli company, and they've been developing this new idea and this new product. It's basically for safety on boats, which I don't think anyone can say is a bad thing. Now this unit here is a 4D radar, so it's like a normal radar, but it also measures speed and distance. So that means that dynamically it can see when you're going to actually have an impact. So it'll tell you in time, not in distance, which is way more useful. Because like 100 meters away means nothing, because if you're doing 10 knots, 100 meters isn't very far. If you're doing half a knot, 100 meters is ages away. So it way excels what a normal radar can do. It's a short range thing, but the system basically works with the normal NMEA system, and it allows you to see what's happening under the water as well. So you can tell us when you're going to hit something with a charted object and flag up a warning. Now the thing with this is, it's not to take away anything from the skipper. It's not there to get in the skipper's way and drive you crazy. Basically, you're looking at, 10 to 30 second warnings or a warning when you're 10 to 30 seconds away from disaster, which is pretty cool that they can calculate when that is. Obviously, I think these guys are going to move on with that. I mean, this is basically the same technology as you get in the front of a car nowadays, where you're going to impact into something, the radar can figure out how quickly that's going to happen, and it puts the brakes on for you. Now, with modern technologies, bow thrusters, steering, electric autopilots, thrusters and all that kind of stuff, there's going to be, let's put it this way, I think that it's going to go to the point where these things can literally take over in the last milliseconds to save us from impact, which I'm sure is going to be a good thing. It has to be a good thing. Super cool, innovative idea. I like it. I'm now going to go on and tell you about something which is totally basic and totally normal for all of us. But as a shipwright, I learned something new about it, and it's basically the humble impeller. There you have it. So this is Johnson Pump, right? They're well known for their bilge pumps and their impellers. In fact, they make the majority of impellers for the industry, to be honest. I came here looking for something like this for my own boat project, because I have ballast tanks in my boat. So I came here looking for a ballast tank pump. But then I found out about this, which is an impeller. So they call this compound MC97. It's a special compound that these guys developed themselves specifically, and they did that for Volvo Penta. Now, it's aimed at the recreational sailor like myself. So most of these are made from neoprene. Now, they look exactly the same, okay? But they're not. And they look like they're made out of rubber, but they're made out of neoprene. And the thing is with neoprene is it swells in water. Now, that basically means that as the orifice that this is in stays the same size, this gets tighter, which puts more load on the vanes, and they crack and they break. But the other thing means is the swelling means that the way water is pumped around the motor is not efficient and the cooling is not good enough. So ironically, those things are actually used in commercial motors all of the time. So commercial engines need to have normal rubber. vulcanized rubber of sorts, neoprene. And that's because the mold's being used all the time, every day. So at the same rate that the material is swelling, the friction from spinning all the time is wearing it out. So the two issues negate each other. But in the pleasure vessel world, when you're maybe only sailing like 3 days a week or something like that, the rest of the time it's just sitting swelling. So the actual performance from the pump isn't what it should be. And Johnson pride themselves on everything that the pump says that it does in all of their pumps is the actual numbers in real-term usage. They're not just sort of numbers which are optimized, they're real time. So they redeveloped this particular rubber for Volvo. So if you see MC97 rubber stamped on something, that is an enormous upgrade for us recreational sailors. And most people probably thought that was a cheaper product. It's certainly not. The fact is, it's about the same price or cheaper, but way better for longevity and way better for actually cooling your engine properly. Anyway, away from geeky engine stuff, I'm going to go into sailing. We're going to look at 2 Furlers. One won the Innovation Dame Award as well. That was from Selden around the corner here. So let's go and see what they've been doing. I mean, how these guys keep innovating the same thing all the time, I don't know, what they do. It's pretty impressive. Just going to charge right through here and go for it. Whoa. So this is Selden's new Furler. You know, and it's like all Furlers basically. It's got a ratchet system on it now. Well, not all Furlers, but a lot of these Furlers these days have got ratchets on them. This is something you might use for like a Co-Zero or a Spinnaker or something like that. So you can pull it one way nice and easily, but it locks the other way to stop it coming out. So, pretty cool. Nothing's changed. Everything will say that's the same as usual. But most of these systems need to have either a remote line, so you can unlock it to allow it to spin the other way, or they have a kind of weird setup where you have to do this, which is easy when it's on short ropes. But when you're at the end of your 12-meter boat or your 10-meter boat or whatever it is, the stretch in the line and the loss of the feel in your hand is evident. You don't know if it's locked or unlocked. So what Selden did was put a simple system in where you just give it a good tug and it goes the other way. Now it's locked that way. So that means as you're furling in, you can furl it in so far, you can have a rest. You can furl it in so far and have a rest. And if you need to pay it out, you just pull it and pay it out. So they were nominated for a Dame Award again, which is absolutely no surprise. And they also made another cool thing around here, which is the nail terminal. I'm breaking in. This is the nail terminal. So like with most of these flying head sails, you've got like a torsion rope, and the rope itself resists torsion, so you can spin the entire rope around, which the sail furls around. We'll probably do a video on top-down furlers and things like that so people can see it, or even some bottom-up furlers. But one of the clunky things with these is, when that rope goes down, back around the furling drum and back up, it's usually clamped together with a massively heavy, clunky thing, and same at the top. The Selden just came up with this, which is really just a load of nails punched through a terminal. It's the simplest thing ever, and again, this was up for an award because, as per usual, simple is often really, really good. So all you do with this one is put the terminal, the torsion rope inside here, and then hammer the nails in. Job's done. Simple as that. You can probably put some heat shrink over it to stop the nails coming out, but apparently it's fine just like that. Amazing. So that's actually really cool because it means you can easily adjust the length of that kind of rope yourself, which means you don't have to have fancy terminations and all sorts of fancy splicing done in the rigging shop. You can do that at the side of the dock wherever you want. Now, another thing we've got to look at, removable clue box for furling sails. So this is for the main sail as it furls. This block is now removable, so you can take the sail off without having to like use fancy tools and all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool, all running on nice bearings, one thing and another. I'm off to see a competitor's product at the moment. It's another furler, another piece of innovation, and you're like, how could you possibly change the furler again? They have. Cool to see this as well, by the way. We recently did a test video on this Atmos. It's like a dinghy pump, a fender pump. And the one thing that I was whinging about was the fact that it's so big and I didn't want to cut a hole in the boat. Well, they've now done it in a standard instrument size hole. They slightly updated it, it's a bit more fancy now, and it's got the better pumps in it as well. The pumps are faster and quieter. But yeah, the guys at Scantrip always changing what they do, and I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, well, we're off to see something else, so let's go there. So this here is the Wichard Tack Furler. They've changed furling again, so this is like for your normal head sail as opposed to your flying head sails. This basically has a Cunningham on it. So for those who don't know what a Cunningham is, that's the way of tensioning your luff of the sail from the bottom instead of the top. It's a pretty cool system. This is basically the foil. This is the bottom of the foil. It will go all over the furl stay. The drum's at the bottom, and the drum goes up and down. So I'm going to show you this on the actual demonstration model around the corner because I think it's easier to understand. Okay, so the Tack Furl, let's just, how we're going to do this. Let's have a look. Let's unfurl this sail here first. And let's presume that we're going to be hoisting a sail up. Now this system, it's different than most because normally you would have your, say this is your jib, you have a jib halyard. It goes up, it goes through that box at the top of the mast up there, and then it comes down. This is different. We've got a line here. So looking at the system as it lies like this, we have basically a lock here instead of a halyard. So the halyard doesn't go all the way to the top and the bottom. That goes up to its own small lock, which is part of the foil. And then another line comes down the foil to here. So what we do is we literally just put that in there like that, and we have the lock in place, which means it can't go up, can't go down, which then means that at this end of the world, we have this drum which goes up and down. From that, we have a straightforward tack assembly, which comes back to a standard cam cleat, and we can adjust the tension using the Cunningham, which you could put like a 2-to-1 or whatever ratio you want. Basically, this gives you much more control over the shape of your sail because you're not basically going through huge sheaves at the top, and it's just an easier system to work with, which is, I think, pretty cool. It's removing that compression from the mast as well, which on those who are interested in sail shape of the main as well, compressing the mast can change that. So pretty cool setup. I like it. I really like it. If you want to furl it away from here, well, you just furl it away, pulling the right rope. That's furling it away. And if you want to drop the sail, you just pull the sail out as per normal, and then you can, probably best thing to do would be release a little bit of pressure off the Cunningham, and then you just pull the rope and it comes down. So there you go. Pretty cool way of furling things, and it's always nice to see brands innovating things. This probably isn't for the average cruiser. It is something that I would like because I like to tune and play with it and get the most out of my sails all of the time. It's part of the fun of sailing for me. But there you have it. It's pretty cool. Now, I'm going to move on now to something a bit more techie. I'm going to look at what was my most fun review of last year, which was an electric motor. These guys have brought out a new one, and we're going to go and check that out now. New one's a bit smaller, a bit lighter, probably a bit more suitable for most cruisers, but equally cool. So the last brand that I'm talking about, and the one that I'm most excited about, is of course Momentum. And as promised, I said I'd show you what they're up to. This is a stator that they've been working on. They've made a bunch of these 3-phase hairpin stators. Loads of copper, loads of torque. And they're utilizing these in a fully waterproof, basically drop-in jet thruster units, which is awesome. But they're not quite there yet, but they are there with this stuff. And this motor was pretty cool when I tested the M10. That red one there is the M15. That's a 15 kilowatt variant. It's not just a straightforward software upgrade, it is a different battery. Let's move on to down here though. This little beauty here is the one that I want to talk to you about. There's a lot of innovation come from all areas of the outboard world, and the guys at Momentum are just permanently updating and upgrading things. I'm going to give you a quick demo on it because I think it's pretty sweet. They've done things which I've been asking for such a long time. So first thing, it's a motor, it moves as we'd expect it, we get all this stuff. We also have a lock, so we can lock the tiller out of the way. We also then just push that and drop it back down, which is nice and simple. Other thing, if you've got this on a yacht, which you could propel, because this thing's actually 2.5 kilowatts constant power. So we can turn this wheel here, and as we turn that, this is now locked. If I get it, there we go. This is now locked, so it won't turn. So you could use that to propel your yacht and use the yacht's own steering system. Really simple to just pull that back out. Trim adjustments are here. So we pull that, and we've got simple trim adjustment there. We've got another one. We can go all the way to here. So even when you're using this on the long shaft variant, the bulb is out of the water. And it looks chunky, it looks heavy because it's well built, but the beauty of it is it's not heavy. And that's something that really, really surprised me. This thing's 9 kilograms in the motor and 8 kilograms in the battery. So all in all, 17 kilogram package overall. So that's what we've got going on there. If I want to remove it from the boat, again, what I love about the Momentum stuff is it's all so positive. Like click, click, click. Oh, I missed something. If I do this, I've been talking about this for a long time. When a motor comes into shallow waters and you hit it, you can damage the motor. By utilizing this place in the trim, it's free to move. So as you come to shore, you know, you normally lock like this for reverse, it works as well as forwards. But then when we come to shore, we just give it one click back and up, and you have that free movement, which I think is really nice. It's got the usual Momentum throttle with the clutch adjustment, so it becomes stiffer or slacker. There's a button on the end here. On the more performance-oriented range, this button basically limits the throttle, and you have to press the button to get the most out of it as a safety feature. On this one, it's there to tell you that you're using more power. So to access more power, you press the button, turn the knob. That's important because, as with all electric motors, we've got to think about range. Now this one does at full speed, full power, 2.5 kilowatts. You get 54 minutes out of it, which I think is pretty impressive. Now, on a 3-meter Easycraft, the owner of the company's been knocking on 11, 12 knots out of it, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty fast for a little motor that's so light. But let's take the battery off as well. We'll just pull this. This is a display one. But we can see straight away when we get inside the size of the contact pins in here. And I think the thing with motors is, as a boat builder and being around a long time, you see the main problem we have with motors is the connections. They're not big enough. They bend or they corrode, and there's not enough sacrificial material in there. These things are built to take the full battery dropping on them. So Chris has allowed me to actually have a motor here, a battery. This is the proper battery here, the full shebang. It goes in and it just drops in place like that. Now, it has actually been designed, so I'm not going to do it, but, well, let's do it. He said we can, so we're going to do it. So you can literally just drop the whole thing. Time and time and time and time again. That's one of the things that I like about Momentum. So, there we go. It's turned on. Kill cord. Usual magnetic kind of idea, but it's out of the way, which I find quite cool. That activates the display. Top of the display, we get to see how much power you've got left. If I turn the throttle, we get to see how much we're using. And we also get to dash through and see the range, the miles, how long we've got left, which I think is pretty cool. So, on that note, I've just got one more thing to do, is pull this, lift the whole system out of the box. And one of the things that I noticed straight away in the design was this pin is tapered, which means that getting it in the hole is going to be a hell of a lot easier. And then we're just going to move these pins in again, drop it down, and we've got a perfectly good carrier handle for me to run off with it. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I'm about to steal a motor and hope no one notices. And we'll see you in the next episode. All the links will be in the description as usual. So do like, do subscribe, and let us know what you think. If there's anything else you want to see at the shows, I'll try and steal that as well.